Welcome to another edition of Chaplain John with Chaplain John Sayers, featuring special reports and interviews with people doing kingdom ministry in Tulare County and beyond. And now, here's Chaplain John.
Hey, me again, and actually on my YouTube podcast today, I want to do another chapter, share another chapter in the book, The Church Wherever You Go, There It Is. Now, you can get this book, just put that name in on your Google thing or whatever, The Church of Wherever You Go, There It Is. You'll see this picture pop up, and you can get the book on Amazon. I encourage you to do that. The book is $7.99 plus shipping. Now, encourage you to get it, but if you live anywhere around Visalia, get a hold of me because I can get you the book without shipping. And by the way, I didn't really do the book for money. Out of the $7.99, Amazon gets about $5.25. And that's all right with me because they put the cover together and they do a lot of stuff. And so that's fine. I don't care. I really didn't do it for money. And I like just giving the books out, to be honest. And so when people get a book, even from me, it just means I can buy more books to give them out to people. Some I just give out to. Well, anyway, in this series I'm doing with you, I'm going to be sharing a chapter, and there's only about 9 chapters in it, but I'm not going to read all of it. The first chapter I called The Camp Church, and you can look at that go back on the podcast or YouTube, you can find that, The Camp Church. Because you see, the book is about where I see the church. And the church it's not just that place you go to on Sunday or Saturday or wherever you go, that group that you gather with and worship. That is the church. And in fact, I have some things to say about that in the last chapter. Good things, sad things. But the church is wherever 1 or 2 are gathered in my name, there we are, the church. Not my name, where Jesus, wherever 1 or 2 are gathered in his name, there's the church, not my name. There's a church. I see the church all around us. And that's what the chapters are about. Where I see the church. And I bet if you were writing this book, you might even have other chapters in it, where you see the church all around you. Well, the first chapter I said was the Camp Church. The second chapter is called the Rescue Mission Church. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about that, chapter 2, the Rescue Mission Church. Now, the first church I pastored in Washington, I was about 31 years old, I guess. And this church was in Aberdeen, Washington, Baptist Church in Aberdeen, Washington. And when I came to be their pastor, I was informed right away that one of my responsibilities as a pastor is to go with a group of people in that church to the rescue mission, right off the main street of Aberdeen, the rescue mission. Now, I've never been to a rescue mission before, so that was kind of awkward for me, but I went with a group of people. And what we did once a month, and then I got used to it, and it's fine, But what we did once a month, we had certain ladies would go that would prepare the meal in the kitchen. And while they were preparing the meal, there was a few of us that actually did the worship service. Now, in a rescue mission, if you want to eat there or you want to sleep there, they always have chapel service first. If you don't go to chapel service, you can't eat or sleep there, And that's the rule of the thumb. That's the rule of a mission, most missions. And so anyway, this group that was doing the worship, which I wasn't part of, we had one guy, neat guy, and he would get up and say, older guy, probably about my age now, but I was younger then. He would get up and say, well, we're glad to be here with you. And once a month, they've been doing this for years. Once a month, he'd say, we're from the Aberdeen. He said almost the same thing. We're from the Aberdeen First Baptist Church, and we're glad to be of service to you. We got some ladies back in there cooking a good meal for us, and we're going to lead you in worship. And want to introduce you. There's my wife over there, Rosalie, and she's going to play the piano. Gary's going to be our song leader, and the parson, the parson, is going to give our message. And that's what we would do. Same message, same routine the whole time. And I used to work really hard at preparing message for the Rescue Mission Church. I mean, it wasn't my Sunday morning message, but something really hard that I really felt that they could relate to. And then I realized something. They weren't even coming to hear my message. No, the reason they were coming was because they wanted something to eat, or they needed a place to rest. That's why they were coming. And in fact, I gave my messages were getting shorter and shorter because one time I said, you probably would want me to have a short message, huh? So you could go back and eat. And then one guy goes, yeah, Parson, shorten your message so we can go back and eat. And everybody laughed. Well, I did. But after about a year of doing once a month going there, I had an epiphany in my heart, in my mind, that maybe in some ways this is a more real church than the churches we go to on Sunday. And let me tell you why. Because when you go to the mission church, and that was right off the main drag, you went there, everybody knew why you were going in there. You wanted something to eat, or you needed a place to rest. You weren't going, and that's why they were going in. And I just really struggled. I go, boy, there's realism there. No game playing at the mission. The reason you're at the mission or the recovery group, which I'll talk about in another chapter, no game playing. In fact, if you went to AA meetings, and at the recovery groups, they would do this too. You would say, my name is so and so and so and so. I'm an alcoholic, or I have an anger issue, or whatever addiction that's grabbing you. You would own up to it. You'd be honest about it. Well, that next Sunday in church, I was looking at the people. We have probably about 80 people. My church's sizes were very small. 80, 100 would be, pretty big, but around 80. And I've been their pastor for 2 or 3 years now. And I got up and looked at the people. And I shared that. Sometimes I think there's more realism at the gospel mission than even here, where we are today. Because when you go to a mission, no game playing. Everybody knows why you're there. And if you go to an AA meeting, you share your name and what your addiction is. And I want to share something with you today, after being their pastor for a couple of years. I said, my name is John Nelson Sayers, and I'm a sinner, and I need Jesus. And then I just sat right down there on the platform. Just sat right down. And I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes. And I go, my gosh, what if I'm the only one? What if I'm the only one that's a sinner and needs Jesus at this place? What did I do? And what if I'm the only one? And I don't think it maybe a minute or two, maybe even not that long. Some people might going, well, what does he want from us? Some people might have been thinking, we got problems now. Our pastor's a sinner. But then Jim Leggett got up. Jim Leggett was a pillar of the church, pillar in the community, awesome school teacher. And he gets up and he looks at the people, and then he turns back and looks at me. And he says, my name is James Leggett. I'm a sinner and I need Jesus. He didn't say Jim. He gave his birth name. My name is James Leggett. I'm a sinner and I need Jesus. And he sits down. A few seconds later, another person gets up and says, my name is Mary so-and-so. I'm a sinner and I need Jesus. My name is Frank so-and-so. I'm a sinner and I need Jesus. One by one. I don't know if they all did, but a good majority in the church that day would get up. They took the mask off, no game playing. And they said, my name is so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm a sinner and I need Jesus. And you could see the realness in their voice and in their face, because we didn't wear masks then either. Someday I hope we get the masks off altogether. But they're just being real with one another. And then when they got done, And I think the majority did get up and do that. Children would get up and do it. I don't care what age you were in. My name is so-and-so. I'm a sinner and I need Jesus. Well, then I got up and said, boy, we're a bunch of messed up people, aren't we? And everybody laughed. We're a bunch of screwed up people. We're a bunch of sinners that need Jesus. And I closed in prayer, and that was the message. And at that moment, at that time, I believe that Baptist church became a rescue mission church, taking masks off. I've had a joy of doing that in some other settings and seeing people so free getting up and saying their name. And some will say, I'm a forgiven sinner. Yeah, that's okay. But we still sin, you know. What a freedom it is to say, my name is so-and-so. You can even do that right now. Do that as you walk or today. My name is so-and-so. I'm a sinner and I need you, Jesus. I need you, Jesus. Well, that's in this book. That's in the chapter of this book. But I did want to read to you a part that my wife wrote. Now, my wife had 2 sections in this book, the church, wherever you go, there it is. And here and at the end. And here's what my wife, because we actually were at a mission for a couple of years. I was the chaplain and Gail did the women's program. But this was about a person named Katie. Here's what Gail wrote. When John and I left the parish ministry to start working at a rescue mission, the learning curve was great. John was the chaplain and the chapel coordinator, and I ran the shelter for the women and children. Later, I started and ran recovery programs for women called Eagle's Wings. Oh, that's a great title. With it came a tremendous number of ups and downs, according to how each person there accepted the boundaries of the program. One woman in particular, I'll never forget. I won't forget her either. We referred to her as Katie. She had a background of being an alcoholic most of her life. Katie came to the shelter out of desperation, yet found something she never had before. She found Jesus. Consistently, she wanted to grow more and more in her relationship with Jesus as she asked to be part of the recovery program. She brought a joy and great uplifting outlook. Her acceptance of Jesus changed everything about her. Soon I noticed she was sick fairly often. She couldn't come as often as she did before. I found that her sister came to take care of her. This is when she left the mission, I guess, yeah. And she told us that she had a severe case of cirrhosis of the liver. And in the late stage, her skin was turning yellow, yet her spirit was strong and growing. Katie's decision to follow Jesus was not swayed by her disease, yet grew stronger as she asked to be baptized and take communion at the mission. We held a special service for her and took pictures to remember the event. Her smile was glowing of peace and conviction. No disease was going to hold her back. Later, she became so ill, she didn't leave her bed anymore. Her sister told us one morning that she sat up in the bed, reached her arms out, having a facial glow, and she was seeing Jesus. She collapsed in her bed and passed in Jesus' arms. Katie left us a poem saying not to grieve for losing her as she gained new life in Christ. She wanted everyone to see Jesus change us. Her testimony to us was one I still talk about today. I am confident that Katie is in the great cloud of witnesses, cheering us on to preserve the race marked for us. Therefore, since we are surrounded by each great cloud of witness, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin so easily entangles us. Let us run with perseverance the race marked for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer of our perfect faith. For the joy set before us, he's endured on the cross, scoring his shame, and now sat down at the right hand of God himself. That's Hebrews 12, 1 through 2. Wow. And this ends, I guess I come back in here and say, do you feel a calling to help those who are homeless? If so, pray to the Lord, and he'll open up the door for you to do that, wherever the local rescue mission is, or maybe even an outreach home, a shelter of some kind. That's the Rescue Church. And there's other chapters I'm going to be sharing with you. By the way, when Katie got baptized, I had the joy and honor of doing the baptism. And Jesus was there. And Jesus is here. The church, wherever you go to, there it is. There is Jesus.